the reciprocal tariff dilemma. The best policy response to reciprocal tariffs would be for impacted countries to remove barriers to doing business within Trinity and with their non-US trading partners under the Fair and Reciprocal Plan. The Donald Trump administration is countering non-reciprocal trading arrangements with trading partners by determining the equivalent of a reciprocal tariff with respect to each for trading partners. There are various around this average. The Cayman Islands and Bermuda in the Caribbean export almost 85% of their goods to America. The US also accounts for over 75% of Canadian and Mexican merchandise exports. At the opposite end of the spectrum, 81 out of 160 countries for which data were available from UN Comrade for 2022 exports less than 5% of their total goods to the US for 26 of these 81 countries. Many from Africa, the US share was less than 11%. Third language choice, Hindi in non-Hindi states, Sanskrit in Hindi belts. With the debate over Tamil Nadu's refusal to adopt the three-language policy still ongoing, the latest data needed to address key questions on the issue is lacking. Vital data that could help bring clarity is the list of languages currently being taught in schools across the states, notably DMK MP Kanimoji Karunanidhi raised this question in the Rajya Sabha last month. However, the reply only provided the share of schools that taught three languages, without mentioning the specific language. The last survey with this detail was 2009 All India School Education Survey, which is not publicly available. The Hindu accessed a copy of the report through sources in the Education Ministry. Notably, even in the 2009 survey, school-wide data on languages taught is limited to the primary stage. However, the insights remain relevant as a Lok Sabha reply from 1995 states that 27 states or UTs had implemented the three-language formula. An analysis of the 2009 survey shows that in Bihar, 99.1% of schools taught Hindi, 64% taught English and 56% taught Sanskrit in the primary stage. With only 8% teaching other languages. Similarly, in Uttar Pradesh, 94% taught Hindi, 75.3% taught English and 65.2% taught Sanskrit in the primary, with just 7% offering other languages. For Uttarakhand, the numbers were 99.5% Hindi, 85.5% English, 79.4% Sanskrit and 2.9% others. Data from these three states show that in English-speaking states, the third language offered is mostly limited to Sanskrit. This is notably as the 1968 National Education Policy had preferred a modern southern language in Hindi-speaking states. Officials in Madhya Pradesh's Department of Education told the Hindu that in the last 15 years, There was no environment for Telugu, Tamil and French due to unavailability of teachers. Also in the state, 34% of the 100 sanctioned Punjabi teaching posts are vacant. 71% of the 100 Urdu teaching posts are vacant, while only 99.8% of the 5,078 Sanskrit teaching posts are vacant presently. The high number of teaching posts and low vacancy at present also hints at Sanskrit being the preferred third language even now. A similar situation continues in Uttar Pradesh country. Bhagwati Singh Secretary, Madhyamik Shiksha Parishad, Uttar Pradesh said, we have one student of Malayalam, 3 students of Tamil and 5 students of Kannada registered with us. These students appear as private candidates. Data from 2009 survey also show that in Gujarat over 97% schools taught Gujarati and 20.9% taught English and 64% taught Hindi in the primary stage, with only 2.2% teaching other languages. In Karnataka 97.5% offered Kannada, 86.2% English, 30.4% Hindi and just 15% others. In Punjab, 79.2% schools offered Hindi, with less than 1% offering languages other than English and Punjabi. This hints at another that in non-Hindi speaking states, the third language is mostly limited to Hindi. Moreover, the RS reply shows that in Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal and Odisha states that had agreed for the C language formula, less than 50% schools had implemented it as of 2023 to 24 Map 3. In Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Haryana, less than 60% schools had implemented, pointing to uneven execution among those states that agreed. Detailed data for recently received the need of the earth. Stunning rivers for Saigon and Phnom Penh, government and Indian arts. News in numbers. Norway's emergency funding to help NGOs hit by US airplanes. Amount to be spent by Greece as part of its defense plan. People who died due to electrocution in Odisha in the last 5 years. Number of days given as special casual leave for organ donation. The gap in funds of the WHO even after slashing budget. How did the Myanmar earthquake occur? Has there been a history of earthquakes along the Sagaing Fault? Has the earthquakes caused damage in Bangkok as well? How did neighboring eastern parts of India avoid any damage from the earthquake? Why is the plate boundary in Southeast Asia an active tectonic feature? The powerful earthquake in Myanmar on March 28 had its sources in central Myanmar, about 20 kilometers from Mandalay, the country's second largest city. Mandalay, located on the east bank of the Irrawaddy River, is close to one of the most seismically active faults in the region, called the Sagaing Fault, named after a town not far from Mandalay on the river's opposite side. The earthquake of magnitude 7.7 struck around 12:50 p.m. local time, followed by several strong aftershocks, including one of the including one of magnitude 6.4, which occurred 11 minutes after the major event. What effect did the quakes have? The quakes were very devastating. They affected the entire region, left thousands of people dead and destroyed many homes. The damage zone extended to Bangkok, the capital of neighboring Thailand, which is about 1000 kilometers from the earthquake's epicenter. However, the damage in Bangkok was minimal, confined to the complete collapse of a 33-story high-rise under construction and causing water from swimming pool on the top of another high-rise building to overflow. However, these incidents were given much hype because of the city's place on the global tourism circuit. The outpouring of water from the rooftop pool was due to seismic switches, oscillations in the water triggered by the passage of seismic waves through the area. Even though the building was located far from the earthquake sources, slower long-period seismic waves can cause the top floors to sway more and amplify the switches as observed in this case. The damage prediction models of the US Geological Survey estimated that the total death toll in the region could reach well over 10,000. Mandalay itself is home to over 1.5 million people and was hit the hardest, with many buildings, including pagodas, mosques, and bridges, either partially damaged or completely collapsed. A review of the damage pattern reveals that much of the devastation was concentrated in the southern areas of the Sagging Fault, because this region is sitting on a thicker pile of alluvium deposited by the Irrawaddy, which implies the seismic energy as compared to the northern parts of the fault. This also explains why China's southwest Yunnan province, which is north of the fault, escaped earthquake included damage. The depth to the source of the 2025 earthquake on the Sagging Fault was only 10 kilometers, which is another contributing factor for the heavy damage and a large felt area where the earthquake's shaking is felt. The neighboring eastern parts of India also escaped damage because the energy released by the earthquake dispersed in north-south direction following the trend of the fault. Earthquakes common in South Asia. South Asia, including Myanmar, is highly prone to earthquake due to the proximity to the complex assemblage of some of the largest tectonic features on Earth, including the Himalayas, the Shillong Plateau, the southern Indo-Burman Range, and the Andaman Nicobar subduction zone, originating from the collision of the Indian and Eurasian plates some 40 million years ago. The plate's boundary in Southeast Asia is an active tectonic feature that generated one of the largest earthquakes in history, of magnitude 9.2 and a transcontinental tsunami in 2004. The tectonic stress accumulating on these plate boundaries is the cause of frequent seismic activity in the region. The earthquake of 1792 was also a great megathrust earthquake of magnitude 8.5 with its epicenter located somewhere along with the Arakan coast of Myanmar. This seismic event generated a tsunami in the northern Bay of Bengal and caused widespread soil liquefaction in the Chittagong areas of Bangladesh. The large thrust fault extends further north onto the Chittagong Tripura Cold Belt, where several moderate earthquakes continue to occur. It is still not clear whether this part of the deformation front can generate future great earthquakes. Southeast Asia is a tectonic museum that exhibits structures that host earthquakes of varying faulting mechanism occurring at depths ranging from as shallow as 5 kilometers to 200 to 400 kilometers. The deeper ones occur in the southern regions closer to Indonesia or the Indo-Burmese regions in the north, bordering the subduction front along the Indo-Eurasian plates. The 2025 Mandalay earthquake in central Myanmar was sourced from within the continental part of the mountain range. In the tectonics of mountain building, such features develop when sediments piles up and rocks are scraped off from the subducting Indian plate, which get plastered onto the overriding Asian plate. What is the geodynamic context of the sagging fault? Because of the complex interplay of plate motions and the resulting geodynamics in the eastern margin of the Indian Ocean, the northeast directed convergence of the India and Eurasian plates takes place in a slanted fashion rather than happening head-on. This oblique convergence of the plates causes the overall strain to become partitioned, with part of the deformation being perpendicular to the plate boundary and the other part occurring parallel. Within the interiors, the north-south running sagging fault form the tectonic boundary between the central Myanmar lowlands and the Indo-Burman range, an elongated microtectonic block that exists between the Indian plate and the sagging fault is commonly called the Burma plate or the Burma silver. It owes its origin to the strain partitioning occurring at the subduction front. Studies have revealed that this fault with its subsidiary parallel structures accommodates much of the slip part of the oblique convergence with a slip rate of 15 to 25 mm a year and an accumulated slipways of 100 to 700 kilometers. The sagging fault accommodates about 50 to 55% of the overall plate motion in the region, unlike the vertical motion the fault blocks along the frontal part of the convergence zone, where one tectonic block is pushed upon the other. The movement is horizontal on the sagging fault, with the blocks sliding past each other. The San Andreas fault in the western US is another such example. Unlike thrust faults where earthquakes originate at either shallow or deeper sources, earthquakes on strike-slip faults are almost always shallower, 10 to 15 kilometers. Classified as a typical trench transform fault, the sagging fault system runs 1400 kilometers between the spreading center under the Andaman Sea in the south to the eastern Himalayan band in the north, which has a long history of earthquakes. Moderate and occasional strong earthquakes of magnitude 7 and above are common in central Myanmar, where 6 strong quakes of 7.0 magnitude or more struck between 1930 and 1956 along the sagging fault or on adjacent structure. Analysis of historical earthquakes have revealed that about half of the sagging fault has returned in the last few decades. Thus, 2025 earthquake is not surprising even but a part of the earthquakes occurring sequentially on this structure to release the accumulating stress from the ongoing active plates interactions. What does the Mantley earthquake portend? Historical records support the occurrence of an earthquake in 1839 called the Ava earthquake that killed more than 500 people in central Myanmar. This event may have originated on one of the segments of the Sagang Fault with a hypothesized magnitude of 7.8. Equally interesting is the earthquake of 1927 reportedly left strong north of Yangon, Myanmar's largest city, with a current population of more than 4 million people. Records also indicate that an earthquake occurred in 1956, possibly on the sagging fault north of Mantley and with a magnitude of 7.7 like that of the 2025 Tambler. The historic city of Begon in central Myanmar, densely packed with religious monuments, has also been subjected to several damaging earthquakes. The latest one to hit his town was in 2016. Science helps us understand the processes behind earthquakes and provides approximate locations of future earthquakes and their possible magnitudes. The Sagang fault is not merely a scientific curiosity. It has a tragic impact on the millions who live with a restless fault beneath their feet. Myanmar is struggling to cope with the aftermath of the latest earthquakes, with a rising death toll and extensive damage to infrastructure, both complicated by the ongoing civil war. The 2025 Mantley earthquakes should serve as a warning to India as the country most prone to earthquakes in South Asia. India should introduce scientifically tested safety measures and procedures to mitigate the impact of earthquakes. The Swarajya of Chhatrapati Shivaji, the wise king, the just rule. The Maratha king, liberal and progressive attitude with regards to the various religions under this rule, particularly when contrasted with Aurangzeb, is a legacy which needs to be cherished in contemporary India. Shivaji stood up to both Hindu orthodoxy and Islamic fundamentalism. Ratmesh Shivaji was religious and from all accounts seems to have been proud of being a Hindu. He awarded large gifts to temple as well as priests. However, his pride in his religion does not seem to have been grounded in hatred for other religions. Even in those medieval times, his faith seems pragmatic, if not outwardly rational. Hafi Khan's Muntakhabu, one Lubab notes, Shivaji had made a strict rule that wherever his soldiers went, they were not to harm mosque, the Quran or women. If he found a volume of the Quran, he would show respect to it and hand it over to a Muslim servant. If any helpless Hindu or Muslim were found, Shivaji would personally look after them until their relatives came to take them. Likewise, Shivaji's Chief Justice Raghunath Pandit Rao, in a letter of November 2, 1669, writes, Shrimant Maharaj has ordained that everybody is free to follow his religion and nobody is allowed to disturb it. In contrast, Aurangzeb had imposed the Jijabai, a mandatory tax intended for non-Muslims living under Islamic rule. In 1979, as a contemporaneous fatwa declares this amount was to be paid regardless of whether they agree or disagree, consent to it or not. Shivaji's response to this was bold and clear, contending that Hinduism and Islam, while different from each other, are equal creations of God. He wrote in a letter to Aurangzeb, they are different hues used by the true divine painter for blending the colors and filling in the outlines of his God's picture of the entire human face, entire human race. If it be a mosque, the call to prayer is chanted in remembrance of him. If it be a temple, the bell is rung in earning for him only. To show by devotee for any man's own creed and practices is equivalent to altering the words of the holy book. To draw a new line on a picture is equivalent to finding fault with the painter, he contended. A ruler's responsibility, reminding Aurangzeb of a ruler's duty towards his subjects, Shivaji writes, your peasants are downtrodden, the yield of every village has declined. In the place of a lakh, only 1,000, and in the place of 1,000, only 10 are collected. He reminds the Mughal autocrat that under his rule the army is in a ferment. The merchant complain, the Muslims cry, the Hindus are grilled, most men lack bread at night, and in the day inflame their own cheeks by slapping them in anguish. Not one to back off from a righteous battle, even when beseeching for fair play. Shivaji reminded Aurangzeb that many of the forts and provinces have gone out of your possession, and the rest will soon do so too, because there will be no slackness on my part in running and devastating them. In his travels in the Mughal Empire, AD 1656 to 1668, French traveller Francois Grenier testifies to Shivaji's conciliatory attitude towards Catholic clergymen he encounters. I forgot to mention that during pillage of Surat, the holy Shivaji respected the habitation of the Reverend Father Ambrose, the Capuchin missionary. The Frankish paddles are good men, and he shall not be attacked. He spared also the house of a deceased dead or Gentile broker of the Dutch, because he was assured that he has been very charitable while alive. The incident is corroborated by the Thanot in his voyage of the rest of the town. Surat was plundered except the monastery of the Capuchins. Shivaji's liberal and progressive attitude with regards to the various religions under his rule, particularly when contrasted with Aurangzeb's attitudes in this regard, is something that contemporary India can learn from. The once and future king Shivaji died on April 3, 1680. That, however, did not stop the project he had set afoot. Despite many setbacks, the discipline and zeal of those who followed managed to root out the numerically powerful yet otherwise hollow Mughal empire in less than a century. After his death, the empire that Shivaji had brought into existence had taken over much of the east-lying Mughal territory. Over 2 decades after Shivaji had suffered of his mortal coil and his Aurangzeb brought in a deathbed letter. The escape of the wretched Shiva took place through carelessness, and I have had to labor hard against the Marathas to the end of my life as the result of it. Shivaji continues to fascinate the politics both of Maharashtra and India at large. During the struggle for independence, revolutionaries from across political stripes drew inspiration from him. Mahatma Phule's ballad Chhatrapati Shivaji Raje Bhosle Yanchi Pawala reflects on Shivaji's opposition both to the orthodoxy of Swarna Hindus in his age as well as Islamic fundamentalism. The term Swaraja was employed by the likes of Dadabhai Nehruji, Mahatma Gandhi and to champion their causes. Swaraja is my birthright was a popular maxim by Bal Gangadhar Tilak, the anti-caste agitation of the Mahasatyagraha took place in Shivaji's east-lying capital. Ragat witnessed protesters chanting Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaja Ki Jai. Dr. Ambedkar had extensively covered the coronation controversy in his Who Are the Shudras, explaining in detail how the contrivance of the caste Hindus almost stopped Shivaji's project from becoming a reality. The subject was recounted in Davida Monetra, Hazam founder and former Tamil Nadu Chief Mr. C.N. Anadurali played Shivaji, Panda Hindu, Razyam which got its lead actor the known day god Shivaji, Gensingh Subramanya Bharti extolled Shivaji in his 199 poem of the same name, exhorting Indians to rise against British tyranny, just as Shivaji had risen against Iran in his age. In his statement in session court on June 6, 1929, Bhagat Singh said that a new movement which has arisen in the country and of that dawn we have given a warning is inspired by the ideal which guided Guru Gobind Singh and Shivaji, Kamal Pasha and Riza Khan, Washington and Gribaldi, Lafayette and Lenin from the viruperative declamations by his opponents while he lived to overtly hagiographical accounts by his followers. The memory of the man who once brought havoc on the Mughal empire is now a flame for politicians hoping to garner votes by extolling his bravery, his intelligence and his drive. A whole cottage industry of sorts had sprung up to make budget movie and pulpy novels on Shivaji, sometimes verging on the ludicrous with the gods themselves appearing as characters therein. Many a contradiction is evidenced as self-declared Democrats, Lord a king who ruled in feudal times, but few visit upon what made Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj such a magnificent figure, both while he lived and in centuries hence. It was not so divine providence, but so human will that he fought against a quantitatively larger enemy and wrote a just rule in place of an unjust one. Albeit under the auspices of monarchy, it was not merely that he fought well, but that he fought for what was right, to empower those who were destitute and to liberate those who were enslaved. This is the second of a two-part series on Shivaji's vision. Now, from the archives, now you are English. My mother tells me you are going to buy a new car. Yes, that's right. What kind? A file? No, I am buying a general purpose vehicle. A general purpose vehicle? I have never heard of that. That's what jeeps were called when they first came out. Jeeps were called general purpose vehicles. Yes, that's right. You see, during World War II, that's when the jeep was invented. In the US, the official designation for the car was general purpose vehicle. Since it was too long a name, people shortened it to Jeep. People shortened it to GP, the short form for general purpose, I suppose. Exactly, and GP became Jeep. That's interesting. So, when are you picking up your Jeep? Tomorrow at C:30. At C:30, are you taking the day off? Then, no, I have office around 2:30. My boss said he would wink at my absence. Wink at? What does it mean when you wink at something? You pretend to see something, although you have actually seen it. You forgive someone, although he has done something wrong. For example, the policeman winked at my failure to stop at a red light. He must have been a nice policeman. Can I say these days most politicians wink at corruption? Why just politicians? I think all of us have begun to wink at corruption. That's true. We all make so many mistakes and we try to paper over them. What does paper over mean? It means to conceal something, to cover something up. You pretend that everything is okay when in fact it's not. For example, during elections, members of a political party will paper over their differences. Later, they will try to paper over the mess they have made. True, all of us try to paper over our mistakes one time or the other. How come you are in such a forgiving mood today? It is because you are getting your Jeep tomorrow. Maybe published in the Hindu on January 2, 1996. Thanks all my brothers and sisters. Today all of you are watching from YouTube channel Say Any Creator. Waqf bill, a direct attack on the constitution, says the opposition. Congress MP Gogoi says the center seeks to dilute the constitution, defame minorities, divide the Indian society and disfranchise the minority communities. Akhilesh alleges that it had been brought to hide the figure of BJP government, and the allies showed different shades of support for bill side work and for Muslims. Muslim body calls for protest against bill. CPI to introspect why it is losing appeal among the masses and may reshape. UGC studying feedback on draft faculty appointment norms government shape. From New Delhi, the University Grants Commission UGC has received feedback on its controversial draft guidelines on faculty appointments. Suggestions have been made on improvements to the provisions relating to the role of chancellors and the constitution of the selection committee for appointing vice chancellors. Stalin urges Modi to withdraw walkout bill. Ensure education has in healthcare in rural areas, Supreme Court says. Only Indian steel for government contest. Necrotech accuses HOABL of trademark violation using fabricated documents. India produced 1681 locomotives in FY25. RIL enters e-sports arena via blasts AI legacy. Wide body aircraft gets new look. Digital child abuse, the danger of AI-based exploitation. Recently, the Department for Science, Innovation and Technology of the British government, along with AI safety institution now called the AI Security Institute, released the first ever International AI Safety Report 2025. Updated February 18, 2025, it flags the imminent risk of the generation, the possession and the dissemination of child sexual abuse material with the help of artificial intelligence tools. Additionally, the United Kingdom is making the first legislative attempt to target the threats posed by AI tools that can generate CSAM refers to the material, audio, video and image that depicts a sexually explicit portrait of a child. In a similar vein, the world's economic forum in a 2023 paper highlighted how generative AI can create lifelike images, especially of children. Moreover, the Internet Watch Foundation in its report released in October 2024 underscored the proliferation of CSAM on the open web. The government of India must amend existing laws to address the emerging threats and ensure long-term effectiveness. Recent developments, the upcoming UK legislation will make it illegal to possess, create or distribute AI tools that can generate CSAM. Moreover, it will be illegal to possess pedophile manuals that may guide individuals in using AI tools to generate CSAM. This marks a progressive shift from an accused-centric and act-centric to a tool-centric approach in dealing with these abhorrent crimes. The existing laws focuses entirely on who has done what, placing less or no emphasizes on the tool or medium used to commit the sad act. For instance, the Protection of Children Act 1978 criminalizes taking, distributing and possessing an indecent photograph or pseudo-photography of a child. Furthermore, the Coroners and Justice Act 2009 criminalizes the possession of a prohibited image of a child, including non-photographic materials. In contrast, the proposed law outlaws even the possession and use of such AI tools, making it deterrent and holistic. Secondly, it will enable enforcement authorities to apprehend offenders at the preparation stage itself. Third, it can curb the initial rippling effect caused by the spread of CSAM on the mental health of children. Fourth, it addresses the legislative gap concerning CSAM generated as purely AI imagery, which was previously restricted to the images of an actual child. On whether India is further future ready, according to the National Crime Records Bureau, NCRB report 2022, cybercrimes against children have substantially increased Compared to the previous year's statistics, moreover, the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal under the aegis of the Cybercrime Prevention Against Women and Children scheme recorded 9.4 lakh child pornography incidents as of April 2024. In 2019, the NCRB signed a memorandum of understanding with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, USA, to receive tip line reports on CSAM as of March 2024, 69.5 lakh cyber tip line reports have been shared with the status and union territories concerned. The statistics underscore the gravity of CSAM as a serious threat to a child's right to life and dignity in India. Presently, Section 67B of the IT Act 2000 punishes those who publish or transmit material in electronic form depicting children in sexually explicit acts. Furthermore, Section 13, 14 and 15 of the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012 also prohibit using children for pornographic purposes, storing child pornography in any form, and using a child for sexual gratification. Additionally, Section 294 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita penalizes the sale, distribution or public exhibition of obscene materials, while Section 295 makes it illegal to sell, distribute or exhibit such obscene objects to children. However, the existing legislative framework lacks adequate safeguards to deal with the AI-generated CSAM. We plan to follow the existing legislative and policy framework in India needs to adapt to futuristic challenges by making suitable changes. First, as proposed by NHRC advisory in October 2023, the definition of child pornography under the POCSO Act must be replaced with the phrase CSAM to make it expensive, taking the term sexually explicit under Section 67B of the IT Act must be defined to enable the real-time identification and blocking of CSAM. For the definition of intermediary under the IT Act must expressly include virtual private networks, virtual private servers, and cloud services to impose statutory liability on them to comply with the CSAM related provisions in Indian laws. For statutory amendments are needed to integrate the risks arising from emerging technological advancements with the Government of India must pursue the adoption of the UN Draft Convention on countering the use of information and communication technology for criminal purpose by the UN General Assembly. Not only the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology proposed the Digital India Act 2023 currently in pipeline. It replaced the 2-decade-old IT Act. Therefore, and lastly, the proposed Digital India Act must draw inspiration from the UK's upcoming legislation to include the provisions specifically targeting AI-generated CSAM. The ring of fire around Iran is tightening, time and allocation. Only Indians steal for government contracts. Supreme Court says Speaker cannot issue on claims for defection. Courts cannot tell a Speaker how to decide. But can it not tell a Speaker to decide within a reasonable period? Justice B.R. Goway, Supreme Court Judge. The Supreme Court on Wednesday said it was powerless if a Speaker clause to remain in decision petitions seeking disqualification of legislators who defeat. And left can counter Hindutva and fascism. India blesses for tariffs on US Liberation Day. CA gave citizenship 2000 saves right liberation. One was request arrest note. Thank you for your presence, for listening, kind reviews in the form of unity and diversity. Thank you, brothers and sisters.